welcome back to another video. This is going to be part 3 of my Great League Freestyle Tournament. We're going to go ahead and get started. So, round 3, match 1, we had a matchup against Road Warrior 24. And let's just go through the usual highlights. My Deoxys defense form is going to take care of Medicham, take care of Skarmory. And then, depending on what my opponent runs, these 3 water types, it definitely loses to Haunter. So that's like one I have to really watch out for. And we already know it loses to Azumarill. Now, Lantern and Wishcash were the wild cards. I wasn't sure if I was able to KO either one of these. I'm pretty sure, in my mind, I would have been losing to Lantern. So I went ahead and assumed I lose that matchup right there. Wishcash, pretty sure, because I'm only running Rock Slide and Psyshock, probably not a good matchup as well. So my opponent, who has very balanced team, but I have to be aware that the 3 water types were, either a bait or he was really gonna try to punish my only grass type. So let's go ahead and go to my Venusaur just to highlight the advantages. Definitely takes her Lantern, Azu, and Wishcash really easy. Definitely loses to Skarmory. It can lose to Medicham and Haunter. Depending, it could know like Sludge Bomb, right, or something like that. So very high risk, high reward on the Venusaur. And then of course we have Azumarill. It does beat Skarmory. It does beat Medicham. Ties with the Zoo. It can take down Wishcash. And I'm pretty sure it loses to the Lantern. So Haunter would do, depending on his moveset, right? It could lose to Haunter as well. So Azu was like a 50-50 chance as well. So those are the 3 keys. Just do one more. Let's go Mew. Mew could take care of Azu. It does a decent job against Skarmory, believe it or not. Doesn't win against Wishcash. And against Azumarill, it's close. I don't know off the top of my head whether it was a good matchup or not. So, and obviously loses to Haunter. So, very questionable stuff here. So it was tricky to figure out which ones to use. And then I think Lantern, just because it's so tanky, I assume it was a losing matchup as well. But those right there were my thoughts. I think before going to this match, I was thinking, okay, he definitely has Deoxys and Mew counter with the Haunter. So if I do decide to bring one of those, I have to bring just one, so I don't get super punished. And then to address his Skarmory, the 2 counters I have, the 2 main counters I have it for it is Deoxys with the Rock Slide, right? Or the Azumarill. I do have Bastiodon, but because my opponent has Medicham, that to me is considered a farmable matchup, so I don't want him to get that advantage, as well as the Wish Catch. So, given that information, let's see how we ended up doing. Let's go to the match. It looks like I lead with Azumarill, because I'm assuming I can have a good matchup with most of his team, I guess. And he leads Skarmory. So I know that I can win this matchup with both shields up. We're going through. Trying to get the Ice Beam off. And we ended up, oh, he ends up shielding. So he throws in an early shield. This is going to be a Sky Attack. I'll let it through. And then we're charging. And then he decides to switch. Switches into Azumarill, okay. So now I know I gotta at least get this player up on the Azumarill to get the damage. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, I gotta save Azumarill for potential Skarmory or the. So right there, blocked the Hydro Pump. So interesting moveset running by my opponent, Road Warrior. Here I go Side Shot because I know Surf is gonna do little to no damage. Does an okay amount because it has Stab. And here I try to get to that Surf just to try to KO before he uses the Charge Move. Unfortunately, my opponent gets off the Ice Beam. I get off the Surf. Surf is going to KO even though it's not effective because it's so low health. And here I know that he can run back the Skarmory, or I guess he goes with the Haunter for the immediate super effective damage with the Shadow Claws. And here I'm just trying to do any type of damage on the Surf. And here I guess I end up going with Bastiodon, thinking he would bring that Haunter. So here I don't have to do anything. I'm just going to take this. Wow, and then those Sludge Bombs. So super interesting movesets that my opponents are running. Sludge Bomb on the Haunter could be very deadly against my Azumarill. So here I know that I'm going to be able to take this down because he has Haunter and the Skarmory. And I'm just going to fast move it down. Goes for the Desperation Flash Cannon, and that's game. So, very interesting match right there. We take match 1, and let's see. Let's go to the next one. So here, I decided to switch it up because now I realize that first, my opponent didn't use his other water type, so I was thinking, okay, he's definitely going to try to switch it up on me. Probably really take advantage of my only grass user. And I run Venusaur, Azumarill, and Mew. This time I decided not to run, I guess, Bastiodon. And as you can see here, I'm only running one Psychic type, assuming he's going to bring that Haunter. So let's see how it goes. So I lead Venusaur, and he starts with a Azumarill. I guess he's trying to. Oh, and he switches out immediately, and he brings in the Skarmory. And here, I look at my team, I'm like, wow, I don't have a hard counter to the Skarmory. I guess I just got to go with the Azumarill and hope I can KO. So I take this first Sky Attack. I try to get to this Ice Beam as soon as possible. He shields, and then here I shield. I have to just to match, and now it's off to the races to see who can get off this charge move. I get the ice beam off. My opponent shields again, and then I shield. But here, I'm realizing, wow, I'm also going to lose this matchup too because I didn't preserve my health in the beginning. So he ends up actually switching. Really interesting, right? So he knows that I have the Venusaur in the front, saved up. I throw in Venusaur, and I go for the Frenzy Plant. Here, probably not the best move to make, because now he can bring in his Skarmory, and that right there was brutal. Not only did I lose out on a full charge Sludge Bomb, even though it would have been not effective damage, but it would have been some damage, right? But not only that, he was able to get off his Sky Attack and just do massive amount of damage and just KO. So now Skarmory is going to reign supreme on all of my Pokemon because I don't really have a hard counter to it. And luckily I'm able to surf it down, but he ends up going with the Wish Cache. So he ends up running double water with the Skarmory protection against the Venusaur. So here, this is all a losing cause. I will not be able to win this match. So thinking back, I could have potentially, instead of switching out to Venusaur against his Azumarill, maybe I should have gone the Mew to try to preserve my Venusaur for his water types in the back. So he ends up taking round 2, and let's go into our last match. So here, I'm thinking, okay, he's definitely found his strategy to beat me. He's going to try and take down my Venusaur. So, and he's forcing me to use Venusaur because he's bringing probably water types. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, instead of Mew that knows Surf and Side Shock, I want to bring Deoxys to take care of his potential Skarmory, and do a little bit more extra stat damage with the Psycho Boost against all his other stuff. And then Azumarill is a pretty good generalist against this team because he's not running any grass types, right? And then my Venusaur for his potential water users, water types. Let's go ahead and get into the match. I'm leading with Deoxys defense form, hoping he goes back into the Skarmory, and he leads with Azumarill. So he ends up getting my lead advantage. He has lead advantage. And so here, I'm just thinking I should try to do as much damage as possible. He shields, and then here, I shield just to copy him. And now, right at this point, I should have realized that, remember from the first match, he was running Ice Beam, Hydro Pump. So, all of these attacks except for Hydro Pump aren't going to do that much damage. So I let this one go because I know it's Ice Beam. And in fact, I probably shouldn't have even shielded that first one. So, not paying attention to detail and realizing too late that he had Ice Beam, Hydro Pump. So here, I realized that he uses the second shield, so I try to take advantage of it, switch into the Venusaur, but I made the huge mistake that I wanted to, not only was I thinking of saving my Deoxys defense to take down the Skarmory for later, but I switched into the Venusaur, which is a farmable matchup for him, and I totally forgot that he would be running Skarmory. So here, this is just play day for the Skarmory. He's not going to shield a single thing. I only get off 2 Sludge Bombs. Probably should have been going for Frenzy Plants. Could have got off 1 more Frenzy Plant if I did that. So here I'm thinking he has loaded energy. What's going to be able to tank at least 1 Sky Attack? I go Azumarill. I'm going to let it go through. And here I'm debating whether I should switch back into Deoxys, but my switch clock is not available. So I have to shield this this Sky Attack, and I decided to go for the Ice Beam. And right there, I think he was trying to switch out. As you can see, he just stopped attacking. And I do take it out. Now he has a Azumarill. He's probably going to go Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, see? Ice Beam, Hydro Pump. And here, I didn't want to risk it, so I went for the Play Rough because I did not want to deal with this Azumarill anymore. And then here, he brings in Whiscash, and I'm like, oh my. I already lost my Venusaur, and the only thing I have left is injured Deoxys. This is going to be a Mud Bomb. It doesn't KO. Unfortunately, I over tap right there and don't get the Psycho Boost. That would have been a huge game changer right there. So he ends up taking me out, and now it's just off to the races to see who can get this charge move. My opponent gets off a Mud Bomb. Is it going to go to KO? Yes. So lots of key mistakes here. Made it a close match at the end, even with a farmed up Skarmory, but unfortunately we lose that match right there. So we lose that final round, and Road Warrior wins the tournament. So I hope you enjoyed that analysis. That was just my thoughts on how I go through some of these matches. He did a really good job of adjusting throughout the tournament and really punishing my one Venusaur weakness. I had a feeling he would try to punish that. But in the end, when I ran this lineup here, Deoxys, Azumarill, and Venusaur, if you think about it, I picked the right combination, but a bad lead and a bad switching cost me the game, because the Deoxys was to take care of the Skarmory, Azumarill could take care of the Skarmory or the other Azumarill, and then my Venusaur should have been saved for his water users like Whiscash and Azumarill. So we live and learn, but that's going to be the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.